This is Kyle Groves, broker owner of Grow Properties in Sacramento, and this is 7 things for landlords to know before applying for California COVID-19 rent relief. The state of California's rental assistance payment program is well underway. The program itself, which began in mid-March, aims to provide assistance to low-income tenants and landlords financially affected by COVID-19. Back in March, the federal government sent an initial amount of $2.6 billion in emergency funds and followed up with another $2.6 billion in September, totaling $5.2 billion in relief. The state of California and a small number of local governments have been taking applications and distributing payments to eligible households and landlords ever since. As with any government program, there are a few things consumers need to know before applying. Here are my top 7. Number 1, who can apply? The rental assistance payment program benefits residential tenants who have lost income and acquired rental debt, as well as residential landlords that have lost rental income as a result. Number 2, what is included? The rental assistance payment program provides reimbursement for rental debt, which includes past due rent, fees, interest, or any other financial obligations under the terms of the rental agreement, which could include utilities or services provided by the landlord. Number 3, what are the eligibility requirements? There are 3 areas of qualification for a tenant, aka household, to receive relief payments. First, one person in the household must be or have been unemployed or demonstrate a reduction in income due to COVID-19. One person in the household must demonstrate a risk of homelessness, such as past due rent or utilities, eviction, or substandard living conditions. Lastly, household income must be at or below 80% of the area's median income as determined by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. One more thing. For a landlord to be eligible for any relief, the tenant must apply. If the tenant does not apply, the landlord's application will be denied. For the landlord, tenant participation is the absolute most critical piece of this process. Number 4, how much relief is available? The rental assistance payment program exists at the state or some local levels, depending on where the property is located. The state program allows for landlords to receive up to 80% of the past due rental debt incurred by the tenant. If the program is governed at the local level, there could be some additional relief given. There are a couple keys for the landlord to receive maximum benefit for the program. The landlord and the tenant must apply. If the tenant applies but the landlord does not, the amount the tenant can recoup is limited to 25% of the past due rental debt. And the landlord must forgive and hold the tenant harmless for the remaining 20%. Number 5, what if the tenant has moved out? For the tenant and landlord to apply for the rental assistance payment program, the tenant must be current. If the tenant moves out prior to application or during the application process, the application will be denied. Number 6, what if the landlord has multiple units? This is a big one. Each unit is treated individually and a separate application must be filed for each unit affected. Number 7, how to apply. Landlord and tenant applications for the rental assistance program can be submitted on the Housing is Key website, housing.ca.gov/COVID_RR. On the site, you'll be required to enter the address of the property, which will direct you to the appropriate program, state or local, for your property. The state program will require the landlord to provide current lease reflecting the name of the tenant, property address, and the monthly rent, the property deed, the property tax statement, the mortgage note, if applicable, and the current homeowner's insurance declaration page or statement. If you've been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and many Californians have, you may be eligible to take advantage of this emergency program. The program will continue as long as funds are available. Cooperation between tenants and landlords will be the foundation for making this program work for you. For more information or to find out if you are eligible for the program, make sure you check out the Housing is Key website. This is Kyle Groves of Grow Properties, and if you're looking for a full-service property management company in the Sacramento area, give us a call.